The barbarians are no longer at the gate. They are now inside.
Wow. So you're calling Cenk Uygur a barbarian? Well, given he's here, let me bring him into this. Cenk, what is your response to that?
Yeah, no, I don't mind because I agree that there are barbarians inside the gate, and that's Randy Fine.
He inserted a line that says the Miller's lie. Is that not coded language? Or therefore we are Jewish? Come on, Piers. Where are you?
What?
Where are you standing?
God, you're so
Katie,
pathetic.
if I can speak.
Everything's your shield.
If I can speak, listen.
Fire him, cancel him, cancel him, America. Oh my God, Israel's feelings have been hurt.
What's up, y'all? What's up, y'all? Welcome if you're new. Welcome back if you're not. This time, we have Cenk Uygur going completely crazy on Piers Morgan's whole panel. As you saw in the intro, Piers Morgan pretty much threw an alley-oop for Cenk to come in and go crazy. But that was only because Randy Fine was talking spicy right before and is usually talking crazy about Cenk and Muslims in general all the time. So this was the first time that anybody was able to challenge him directly. But this episode was a little different than most. Usually he has a one-on-one interview either before or after the panel. But in this case, Piers Morgan had the panel. They talked about Mamdani, the next mayor of New York City, who's Muslim. So that in turn leads to a talk about Israel and what's going on over there. That included Stephen Miller's wife, who threatened to deport Cenk.
So what happened in the Holocaust and all the pogroms were disgusting. That doesn't mean that Israel...
So that was wild. And then pretty much out of nowhere, Piers Morgan had the panel stand by while he interviewed Randy Fine and set up Cenk for that, I don't want to say ambush, but pretty much.
To be fair to you, you did not know you would be engaging in a wider debate with other panelists. I decided to bring Cenk in because you called him a barbarian invading the United States. I think if you do that about a panel member, they're entitled to respond.
And I say standing by because after Cenk and Randy Fine go at it, Piers just brings back the panel. So I guess they were just like standing around. They were just waiting around that whole time. And I have to make sure we understand that there was two separate times that the panel convened, because the second time is when Katie Miller, Stephen Miller's wife, threatened to deport Cenk. So Piers Morgan pretty much let Cenk go crazy for 3 rounds straight. So we're gonna cover it in 3 separate videos. This one is just about the first panel because we're gonna see how Jillian Michaels, Katie Miller, and then Randy Fine later work the refs, and by the 3rd video, the second time the panel reconvenes, how they get Piers Morgan to share in their sympathies and receive unearned benefit of the doubt. Let's watch these clips and I'll give my thoughts on it afterwards.
But I guess it's relevant if he is saying that Islamophobia is endemic in the United States. I mean, do you believe that it is endemic in the United States? A hatred of people for their Muslim faith?
I don't think it's endemic in the United States, but it does exist. Racism exists. Sexism exists. I don't think it's endemic. And I think that kind of fear-mongering, rage-baiting is literally tearing us apart, which is why I want to see it stop when it comes to his religion as well. So listen, he said a lot of things that I don't like. This is America. He's allowed to say those things. I go back to what I wish people would attack him on specifically are his policies, because that's where I believe he has exceptional vulnerability. Like, if you don't like the things that he's saying about Gaza or Hamas or the Jews, don't double down by saying those things about him being Muslim. That's my opinion.
He's never said anything about the Jews. We should just be clear about the fact that he's never said anything about the Jews. That's a way that, it's just a phrase that gets imposed on him because people can't find anything to condemn. Yeah, but that's not saying anything about the Jews. Whatever his views are on Hamas, that's a completely different conversation. We should just use words carefully and to be like, if we're going to have a constructive discourse, it's important not to put words in other people's mouths. So anytime you hear Mamdani and you hear the phrase, the Jews followed by it, that's typically a smear because Mamdani has never expressed any views that are anti-Semitic. If his political views about Israel and Palestine are problematic, let's debate the merits of those without suggesting that he's saying something about the Jews when he never did.
Oh, okay. What
I think
about
that's fair enough,
Omar. He has a rap song.
Okay.
I was going to say he has a rap song where he celebrates the Holy Land Five, who, have gone to jail for sending millions of dollars to Hamas. How do you think that would make a Jewish person feel? Probably not great.
Not great, Jillian.
I've never heard of that song. Israel slaughters. Hold on.
Okay, I mean, it exists.
Our children over and over and over again, and all we do is and Piers, this is really important. It's not that the American people are Islamophobic. It's that American media, mainstream media, and almost all the Israeli supporters are the most bigoted, racist people in the country. They despise Muslims. All they do is smear Muslims 24/7 while pretending that they're concerned about bigotry, but only when it affects their beloved Israel. So they're like, oh my God, I'm so concerned about anti-Semitism. Oh, you said something slightly true, actually very true about Israel, but it hurt my feelings. You're an anti-Semite, fire him, cancel him, etc. This is all thuggery. There's a bunch of pro-Israeli forces inside America. They've taken over our Congress. They've taken over mainstream media. And not only do they try to smear, cancel, fire, and arrest anyone who criticizes Israel, but on top of that, they now demand that you be racist and bigoted against Muslims. And it's so hilarious.
You want to be specific with your words?
Because Mamdani, hold on, let me finish. So let me finish. So now they go, okay, even though Mamdani has never said anything anti-Semitic, nothing against Jews, and even though the majority of Jews, according to polling, are supporting Mamdani, 67% of younger Jewish Americans in New York that's under 45 are supporting Mamdani, we're going to lie anyway, and we're going to say, you know what? He's a dirty Muslim, and you should hate him for supporting Muslims. And that's what almost all of the Israeli supporters are doing, almost all of mainstream media, and that sick, disgusting Andrew Cuomo, who's as bigoted as it gets.
Jillian Michaels does this fake sympathy plea, and oh my goodness, he did a rap song 30 years ago. What would the Jews think? And Cenk doesn't let the other guy fall into the trap of, well, I just owned that rap song. No, words are not the same as actual violence. They're not the same. Cenk makes it clear that there is no equivalence to those two things, because that's a trick that happens a lot in mainstream media, and we're gonna see other examples of it on this very episode, where even Piers is gonna show that he has more sympathy for one side than the other. And Katie Miller now is about to try to weaponize that sympathy by trying to get Cenk kicked off the show and never invited back on Piers Morgan.
Why is it that every time someone wants to criticize Mamdani, it immediately comes back to the Jews and the anti-Israel movement instead of actually talking about his viewpoints, which is that he wants to make...
Nobody said Jews. You just said it. You always do that. We say Israel, you say Jews. We say Israel is a government. Please don't make it about Jewish Americans. And you come back and go, you have to make it about Jewish Americans. What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you?
Is Israel a Jewish state? Yes or no?
Yeah. First of all, okay, so Saudi Arabia is a Muslim state, and you can criticize it all day long, all day long. There's no special protection
because
for
what you're
Muslims,
doing is you're decoding language
that
to
calls
attack
themselves
American
a Jewish state or a Muslim
state, and to say that
state.
we should not be here and we should not be in existence, and that you would be happy for other people like Mamdani to use it.
I want Israel to be safe.
Nothing of the sort.
Nonsense. You're totally lying. It's very normal for a Miller to be completely and utterly lying. That's not true. We want Israel to be a safe haven for Jews, 1967 borders. But you guys say, no, more Palestinian land. Take Gaza, take the West Bank, take southern Lebanon. Your greed knows no bounds. And by the way, you and your husband are supposed to be working for America, not for Israel. I think you're betraying this country.
All right, Cenk, let Katie...
Piers,
right,
if I can just jump in here on a quick note.
Yeah, Omar, I'll come to you, but let Katie finish her point, then I'll come to you. Katie.
No, Piers, quite frankly, I'm really sick and tired of this racist, bigoted rhetoric that comes from people like you against my husband, against my family, and my children. I am raising Jewish children in this country.
Who brought your children into this? What a weirdo.
Piers, I'm going to be done with this if you're going to allow racist and bigoted attacks against one of your commentators just for the sake that he will not
hang on.
Speaking.
Casey, to be clear, he inserted
a line that says the Miller's lie. Is that not coded language for therefore we are Jewish? Come on, Piers, where are you?
What?
Where are you standing?
God, you're so
Katie,
pathetic.
if I can speak.
Everything's your shield.
If I can speak, listen.
Fire him, cancel him, America. Oh my God, Israel's feelings have been hurt. Why don't you work for this country?
Can we try and get
this country instead of Israel?
Can we try? All right, can we please? All right, let's stop the ad hominem attacks. Let's try and get this back to a more civilized debate, which is actually about the likely incoming mayor of New York. Katie, I was giving you the chance to respond. If you want me to do it for you, I'm happy to do that. But normally in a panel discussion, if someone makes...
You know, Piers,
I agree, and you shouldn't be interrupted. So, Katie, let me just ask you, separate, let's not get into ad hominem stuff. It's honestly, I think the viewers are sick of it.
That's where you're wrong, kiddo. We're definitely not sick of it. We need these tactics to be called out in real time, because if not, they just go unchecked and everybody just moves on like that didn't just happen. Piers is only saying something because he was called out. She didn't just plead to authority. She was blaming Piers for allowing Cenk to say that she and her husband are liars. That's what Piers took offense to. Like, whoa. If you guys want to go at it by yourselves, y'all do that. Leave me out of it. So that's it for round 1. Stick around for round 2, where Piers Morgan unexpectedly cuts to a one-on-one interview with Florida Congressman Randy Fine, but then that just becomes an alley-oop for Cenk to pull up and dunk all over Randy Fine. See you there. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out. Peace.